Hi, our topic for today is about money. Who control the printing of money for a particular country, or the IMF or the central bank? Many of us can ask this question because, as we know, that a country, when it needs funds, they will go to IMF. Why a country don't just print money instead of going into foreign and local debt? These are the two questions that we are going to discuss. But before that, if you are watching this video through Facebook, kindly click the three dots above this video and then click open in YouTube. When you are in YouTube, please click subscribe so that you will be updated with my upcoming videos and a sort of giving your kindness in me to help me build subscribers. So let's go to our topic. Who control the printing of money for a country? Is it the IMF or the central bank? It is the central bank. No country will allow that their country will be controlled by foreign bodies. So to keep that, the country only allow the central bank to control for the printing of money, while the IMF, the International Monetary Fund, will only give advices to countries for their printing of money, for how many that they are going to print. But if the country will not follow the IMF, there is nothing to worry, because as in the end, it is the central bank who control the monetary fund of that particular country. As we can see in the 100 peso bill, there is a sentence states in Tagalog that ang salaping ito ay bayarin ng Bangko Sentral at pinanagutan ng Republika ng Pilipinas. In English, this money is used for payment by the central bank and is guaranteed by the Republic of the Philippines. So why a country don't just print money instead of getting into foreign and local debt? If the central bank really controls the printing of money in a country. When the country borrow money and the IMF, they will get in form of US dollar. So that US dollar will be brought into the country. Like for example, here in the Philippines, that dollar will be brought into our country, and that dollar cannot be spent in a dollar form in the country. So it will be first converted into Philippine peso. And that way of conversion is utilizing the available Philippine peso that was printed in the country. And a country sometimes go into borrowing from its local financing institutions like banks instead of going into foreign borrowings to utilize the printed money. Oh, by the way, the central bank all over the world practice of printing about 2 to 3% of the GDP, gross domestic product. As we know, every year a particular country, like in the Philippines, they will tell the people through the news about the GDP if it rise or fall. And from that amount, the 2 to 3% of that, the central bank will be printed money for about that 2 to 3%. While for some countries, especially the developing countries, they will print a little bit more, like 3 to 4% of the GDP. But there is no accurate, because it is upon the guidance of the government and its central bank. So what will happen if the money of a country is in oversupply? The economy will collapse. Many people will have access to money, and money is easier to find. But because of that easiness to find money, and also many people will be having so much amount of money, what will the people use for the money? The people will have to use that money to buy goods and services, like rice, canned goods, cell phones, cars, anything. So when the people, when there is so much amount of money, while the availability of the goods and services is limited, it is a matter of supply and demand. The prices that will increase because no businessman wants that the services or goods that or things that they will offer will be sold into lower prices. Any of the businessman wants that their services, their things, or their goods sold in the market will be sold in right amount, or in the amount that they think that they are having profit. So the inflation will comes in. What is inflation? Inflation, it is the rising of prices. Like for example, the price of canned goods, for example, sardines. One can of sardines is 35. Then if that can of sardines goes into 40, that difference of 5 is called inflation. Because inflation will be calculated upon the rising of prices. So when so much amount of money is printed, inflation comes in. And this is the reason why the country do not print more money, and instead they go into foreign or local debt. Oversupply of Philippine peso will make the value of US dollar increase against Philippine peso. This is another effect. And not only the inflation of goods and services in the country will be affected for the oversupply, but also the price of US dollar. The US dollar, when US dollar will increase, the imported products will also increase. Well, if you are a businessman, when you are a person who loves your country, you can say that, well, this is good for the people can only buy local products. Yes, but sad to say that most of the imported products that we use are important, and it is necessary for the people in the country. Like for example, the medicine, for the medicine and the hypertension, the supply of rice, that goods, that medicine will be affected when the price of dollar increase. Because many people in the country holds the money, and when there is an inflation, the rising of prices, people find other things that because inflation will make their money into a small amount, and also for this so much availability, and many people wants to go on travel abroad because they have so much money, they will buy dollars because there are so much money. Most of the people will think, I have a money, so why shall I just keep this? I will use this to enjoy. And because he wants to enjoy, he will be going to abroad. So his money will be converted because he cannot spend Philippine peso abroad. He will convert it into dollar. And that way will make the price of dollar increase. And when the price of dollar increase, the imported products will be on higher prices. So people will be affected, especially those who needs the medicine, those who are buying rice and other necessary goods and services. And these are the requirements to print more money. Assets. What are these assets? This is the gold, forex reserve, stocks, bonds, like government bonds, like that, bank bonds, I hope that I give you a little. I hope that I have able to make you understand about why the government don't just print more money instead of going into foreign debt or borrowing, local and foreign borrowing, because they are just protecting the economy of the country to avoid oversupply of their money and to avoid inflation. That is happening, and to avoid like what is happening in Zimbabwe, in the Africa, and in the Venezuela for the South America, because Zimbabwe printed more money to increase the salaries of their soldiers, their government. They print more money, but the consequence, it brings them into hyperinflation. Hyperinflation means their inflation is so much, not just 100%, but it is more than, it becomes 1,000 or 1,000 in increase, 1,000%. So that's the danger. That is the danger of printing so much amount of money. That's why the country, and most of the country, don't print so much amount of money, and they are protecting the people living inside the country. And for our next topic, I did not able to change this into English. I will have to give you this in English form. But before that, I will have to read this. My next topic is about this. Ano ang mangyayari kung ang lahat ng tao ay hindi na mamimili at sa halip ay itago na lang ang kanilang pera? In English, what will happen if most of the people or all of the people will keep their money and will not spend in exchange of goods and services? Instead of spending their money, they will just keep. So what will happen? So if you want that to know, kindly click subscribe so that you will be updated when I will be able to post this video about this. And thank you for watching. I hope you enjoy our discussion.